Peace, everyone. It's Black High Priestess. How's it going? I hate this new phone that I got. I won't say I hate it. I guess I'm grateful that I have a phone at all, but the camera's like super pixelated compared to the last one that I had. It's very annoying. So if anyone wants to donate $50 to $100 so I can fix the phone, the last phone that I had that had an excellent camera. But I just wanted to say, I guess I'll jump right into it. Marijuana is not a gateway drug. Again, this this can be considered my opinion, but it's also an observation that I made, and I guess just like a testimony that I want to give. Sorry. Weather's changing, so it's coughing, sneezing, allergy season. Marijuana naturally is I would say, a holistic remedy. It cures weight loss, lack of appetite, anxiety. I don't want to say cancer, but research has shown that if you, well, I'll let people do their own research, but I've read up on studies that say if you inject it into cancer cells that it has a significantly reducing effect on cancer cells. Again, I think that a lot of that will depend on how you partake it. Blunts is probably one of the least healthy ways to to consume marijuana, so to speak, or hemp, or the THC, the part of the cannabis that has certain positive effects, biologically and psychologically. So, can it be a gateway drug? Yeah, for some. I would say that, as far as I know, no one has died from marijuana use. Marijuana does not kill a certain percentage of anyone per year. Have people end up hospitalized? Yeah, there are stories of and incidents where people have gone to the hospital because a lot of times they consume marijuana unknowingly, or it had unexpected effects, and they went to the hospital because of the high, but it didn't have any detrimental physical effects, other than the side effect of getting high. And the side effect of getting high in itself actually can be a very positive thing. The euphoria that comes with it, that doesn't create a biological dependence the way something like heroin or methamphetamine, even cocaine, would. And what I mean by that is the withdrawal symptoms of marijuana do not compare to the other drugs aforementioned. Having said that, it's important to understand, and I'll put a link, because I think I did like a interview a few years ago with the Herbal Intellect show, and And that's funny because I that sister got married, or she got engaged that month that we did that episode, and she did a whole series that year on herbs, and she had different herbalists and specialists and everything. And I, as Black Eyed Priestess, spoke about the spiritual importance of marijuana and certain herbs, in witchcraft, of course, but also I talked about the history of marijuana and the illegalization of it having to do with racism, actually, against the Native American population, and it having to do with racism against the Mexican population in the 1800s. Um, Late 1800s, I believe, and the term marijuana being directly related to vilifying the indigenous Native American slash Mexican population that was, producing and making economy off of selling hemp products. Um, you know, calling it marijuana. So again, the illegalization of it actually is based in racism and somewhat, I don't want to say stipending, but just like interfering with the economic prosperity of the indigenous populations in America, you know. Um, and again, also the healing properties, that the natural healing properties that it has, the spiritual properties, the spiritual roots of chiefing and being in sacred ceremony, circles, passing around the peace pipe, these Native American traditions that marijuana enhances. Um, so just overall, dealing with the topic, I think it's important for people to really understand this perspective that marijuana is not a gateway drug. Can it be? Yes, for people who are seeking that out. I dated someone for over a year who did cocaine often. They were a cokehead, I would say. I never touched it. Never touched it, never have, never will. I've been offered ecstasy, other things for free. Gave it away, to let someone else use it or sell it, whatever they wanted to do with it. I didn't need that. You know what I mean? Um, you know, if you are a one, bad association spoil useful habits. So who you hang around could influence you. But what I'm saying in my experiences is I'm not I'm just only speaking for myself. But what I'm saying is that I not only hungry, I dated somebody. You know what I'm saying? And I still didn't engage in what they did. So that's to say that you can make certain decisions. You can still have people that you love, that you care about in your life. You can still have friends. You can still have a job where you don't have to get involved in things that is not for you, that other people do. You can be in situations where you have opportunities to use drugs, and you can make a choice. You can make a choice. So what I'm trying to say is that it's important to be mindful. If you are a marijuana user, or if it's serving as a holistic remedy for you, a natural cure, for something, and you're using it as opposed to other drugs, and again, being addicted to pills, and other doctor prescribed things, can be similar, and it can be just as costly on your body and financially as some of the aforementioned drugs. So it, anything in, I would say, moderation is okay, but anything in excess is detrimental. And I would say if you're someone who is using medical marijuana or recreational marijuana, use discernment. Um, you know, understand, where the use of it, especially not medically, but especially socially. Set boundaries socially, because understand, getting involved with it socially can lead you to another social climate that you may not belong in. That is not about a spiritual or social or recreational or medical use of this plant. But that goes for anyone. Marijuana, again, speaking for myself, has never caused me to steal from family or friends or my job. Has never caused me to sleep with someone to get that high. Has never caused me to go out and commit a crime to get that high. And I believe, and I would reckon, the majority of marijuana users can say that, even maybe more so than cigarette smokers. Marijuana does not create an atmosphere of violence, whereas alcohol, something that's been legal long before marijuana, and still is more widely than marijuana is. Alcohol causes a lot of deaths annually in several different places. Alcohol causes a lot of violence in public and domestic. And we all know this. That is not the case with marijuana. Every time I've seen fights or violence break out, or I personally have been in situations, alcohol was probably the foundation of things escalating to violence. Never marijuana. In fact, I would say that the times where I've been in, let's say, 420 ciphers, creativity has been expressed in a positive way. Alcohol, you can lose your inhibitions. Alcohol is definitely a truth serum. But with marijuana, it doesn't escalate to unexpected things and violence and stuff. It usually expands people's mentality, opens up discussion, of topics, and actually allows people to think in different perspectives that, once the high is gone, can still be beneficial to their outlook on life. And I'm sure a lot of people can vouch for what I just said. Where I'm not talking about the illusions of grandeur that you see cokeheads getting when they get coked up and they're driving 100 miles an hour down a side street, not worrying about who has a seatbelt in the car, or lifting people up living on the 95th floor of a building a skyscraper, you know what I'm saying, and doing things, risking lives and things like that. These illusions of grandeur that people who do certain things. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about actual expansion of consciousness that can come when you think within yourself or are socially having discussions about certain topics under the influence of marijuana. I've seen that lead to expression of inner creativity. I've seen it lead to healing. Alcohol, and again, I'm not saying that marijuana hasn't caused people to make bad decisions or things like that, but I've never seen anyone get into maybe a disagreement. But when people are high, it doesn't escalate to argument very easily. When people are high, people have a sense of euphoria that they usually don't want to come down from for the sake of discord. It has quite the opposite effect. That is not true for alcohol. I've seen alcohol let people make bad decisions with who they sleep with. The relaxing effect that marijuana has on the muscles, I think, prevents a lot of the the physical violence or rash decision making that alcohol can cause. And I'm not here to compare marijuana with alcohol. I'm just explaining why I don't believe it's a gateway drug. I think it has a lot of beneficial effects, and I think that we need to not vilify something because of the way society is. And we need to really understand that the war on drugs is very for lack of a better phrase, it's very much a facade in a government ploy to control society in a greater corrupt systematic way. And I think that we need to look at the government of society and the racism behind the illegalization of marijuana, and how even in up until essentially Obama, and now slowly more states are legalizing it. Up until then, you had mostly black and brown men, and women being arrested for selling something that was allowing them to feed their families and themselves, take care of their children, but also risking jail time and other stresses, selling something that's illegal. And now that it's legal, you have rich white folk making the profit off of essentially illegally obtaining seeds to start this legal medical marijuana franchise that is now making white people wealthy. Okay, I'm not saying other races don't have access to the business of it. I'm not here to gripe. I'm here to explore the background of why marijuana is not a gateway drug. If you look at the history of it, the legalization of marijuana is rooted in racism. It's rooted in oppression of the indigenous population. That's where the legalization of marijuana is rooted, and it's not rooted in it being a gateway drug. It's rooted in the fact that it has a lot of healing properties that take you away from having to use the pharmaceuticals that white people are pushing, that are drugs that they're making money off of, getting people hooked on, when you don't need that. We have, as Native Americans, natural remedies and holistic cures. And that is under attack if you're brown and making money off of your own heritage. I don't know how else to say it. So I will post the link of the interview, and I encourage everyone to do their research on that, and use marijuana, cannabis, hemp, whatever you call it, or however you use it at your discretion, but really research the holistic health and spiritual properties of it, and the history of how it became considered a gateway drug. Peace and love, everyone.